Hello everyone, and welcome to Her Language and to this Fairies Oracle card reading. At the time that I'm recording this, we've had a new moon in Cancer here in June, and I will be pulling the cards for my Faeries Oracle readings just around a new moon or a full moon, because the fifth element is the moon in the realms of the fairies. And so the moon is what's keeping the four elements of water, fire, earth, and air in a constant flow. So my readings will not hold any specific meanings to the new or full moon in particular, but just simply bring us closer to the energies of the fairies. If, however, this new moon in Cancer in June 2020 has had a particular meaning for you, then please apply that to this specific Fairies Oracle message. These are timeless readings, so whenever you come across one of my readings, it's probably the right time for you to watch it. So let's see what kind of energies the fairies see around us. And remember that you can apply it however it might resonate with you and where you are right now in your life. And also I would like to add that the cards can be read both ways, which means that the cards can either represent you or they can represent your surroundings. So once again, apply it however you feel it resonates. So when asking the fairies where we are at right now in our lives, two cards came out, and the first card that came out was Faun the Poet. And I will just show you the card in its upright position, but it came out in reverse. In general, this card is talking about clear sight, poetry, erotic energy, laughter, not getting into serious mischief here. He's also asking us to recognize the beauty in every aspect of life, even if we are dealing with difficulties, sorrow, and pain. His energy sometimes can be of a Casanova character since he has a very erotic and poetic nature. So he sometimes thinks that he can fly when he actually cannot. And that is why he is often leading us to situations where we almost have to fly to be able to survive. So take everything with a grain of salt and remember to also feel joyous and laugh, seems to be his motto. Now coming out in reverse, he's pointing to the fact that we right now in our lives may be silent where we actually should be speaking up about something. And it's also pointing to the fact that some kind of lies can be going on or some kind of confusion. We can have a hard time figuring out what is really true. He's asking us to use some common sense here. And if we don't have a lot of that, he's asking us to please start develop that. Instead of just sitting there fabricating mind spin of foolishness, actually. So we need to have a closer look in our lives about what is going on and then try to figure out what is true and false about the matter and then speak up about it. And I feel that there is a great underlining here of the fact that we need to speak up about something where we have kept ourselves silent. It's enough now, it's time to speak up about it, instead of thinking that we have not deserved to be heard in the matter. A second card actually came out with Faun the Poet, and here we have card number 6, the Singer of Connection. And again, I will just show you the card in its upright position, and in general, card number 6 is talking about spiritual connection, karma, balance, and empathy. It is the source of the universe. It is our eternal flame, our inner knowing, angelic and astral planes. It's that deep sense of being at home in ourselves. Now coming out in reverse, it's asking us to really have a deeper look at how close and well we are connected with Source. And ask ourselves questions like, what can I do to get more in contact with the universal energies around me through my body, mind, and spirit? Because there is obviously here some lack of alignment. We need to bring more stability and continuity in to make things come about. And again, I would like to mention that if the numbers on these cards hold any specific personal meaning to you, then please add that to the Fairies messages, because there could be a very personal message for you here through reading the numbers as well. Okay, so this is where we are at right now. So let's move on to see why we are in this situation at the moment. And in relation to that question, we have card number 9 coming out, the Singer of Initiation. And it's actually belonging to the same group as card number 6. So again, here we are talking about being close to the universal source, to keep to our hearts and fill ourselves with grace and light. And in general, this card is talking about passage through trial. It's talking about triumph and new level of being, new level of consciousness, etc. And coming out in its upright position, it's talking about breakthrough actually, new challenges and changes that are knocking on our door, bringing us the opportunity to move into new ways of being, into new realms. So it's asking us if we have learned the lessons we have been through so far, and if we are ready and willing to apply that learning into our lives. So it's also talking about success and using our powers in an ethical way. It's talking about greater fulfillment of our potential, and also to have more responsibility for ourselves and the world. So here we have an open gate, and it is kindly asking us to take action to move through it. Now, along with this card number 9, we have number 25 coming out. I will just show it in its upright position. It's the Fairy Godmother we have here. A lovely card talking about gifts and talents, grace and helpful lessons. She is really the one showing up to dig everything up that we seem to have forgotten about ourselves, about how unique we are. Now, coming out in reverse, she is talking about that perhaps maybe we are making things harder than they need to be at the moment. It seems that we have left out the grace of the fairies and heaven, which just makes everything a personal struggle in our lives. It's talking about that we are not sharing anything, that we're just taking. And so that we need to stop to be selfish and really start to give again from within, so that we can glow with the deepest light that is coming from our innermost. We must begin to feel secure and loved and happy again, and come out of that stagnation of unwillingness to give and receive in a more open and free way. So the reason why we seem to be silent about something, to be confused about something, to not really know what is going on, and to not being grounded, to not being closely connected with Source, is actually that we are moving into new and higher realms of being, that we are meeting new changes and challenges in our lives that seem to be moving us at a very deep existential level here. And that we can do it because the gate is open, like I mentioned before. We just need to take action to go through it. But that calls on our willingness to use all of our gifts and talents to do that, to actually believe more in ourselves, and maybe to believe that we actually have more to give than we feel we have. The Fairy Godmother is here to help us do that. She is here to show us grace. So she's a very kind nature. Maybe if you have a grandmother, it's like that grandmother kind of energy, bringing kind advice to you, giving you a shoulder to cry out on when you need that, etc., etc. It's that kind of energy, so try to tune into that kind of deep love. So let's move on and see what kind of advice the fairies would like to give us on this. And here we have card number 35, the Faun, coming out in its upright position. And in general, this card is talking about understanding the nature of nature. It's talking about natural wisdom and natural magic. So in its upright position, it's giving us the advice that natural magic is actually happening right now, and that we should allow the energy of that kind of magic to just flow through us, to loosen up a little bit, to lose control, to just simply keep to the source and dance with it, enjoy it, indulge in it. It's talking about also to keep close to our heart and the light, which is the same thing, to give and receive in a free manner, to keep that natural flow of things going in our lives, to actually seek natural alignment within everything we meet in our lives. It could also mean, actually, quite literally, to go out and be more in nature if you're not doing that already. And if you are doing that already, maybe do more meditations out there. Maybe speak more with your higher self through just imagining that the trees can bring you answers, because the fantasy and our imagination is actually the true core of things. It is actually what is truly going on. And the world that we seem to be living in our awakening life, seem to be more of an illusion. So sometimes we need to go back to nature to really feel grounded and to really feel what is true and false. It's actually to be sort of clenched, going back to your roots, going back to your innermost, your spirit, to really align with you. And so we can see in the picture these light points coming from our higher self, moving down through our third eye chakra and further on to our throat chakra, which again makes perfectly sense with the Faun, the poet, talking about that we should really speak up right now. But before we can speak up, we need to be in complete alignment with what we feel is true and false in the matter. And the only way we can find out is to align with our higher selves, try to see through things by asking nature quite simply, and to have a second look at what is flowing within us, what is really going on inside of us. Because when we know what's going on inside of us in our own nature, we also have a tendency to make the right decisions for ourselves in the situations that we meet every day in our lives. This was what I had for you. Hope you have enjoyed the reading and that it resonated in some ways, and that you have been inspired to go explore the realm of the fairies, to start working on the development on your own intuitive side. Remember to stay grounded when you feel their light and humor and their teasing, loving energies around you, as they are the messengers of the earth and the spokes creatures of Mother Gaia. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Dance, light, love and songs and many moon magic blessings to you all. Bye for now.